fellow ink drinkers, and welcome back to the Blind Girls Book Talk podcast. My name is Aria.
And I'm Belle.
And we are two legally blind sisters who love reading and love books. And so what we've done is we've created this show in order to talk about that. We talk about a wide variety of bookish topics, and that can range from bad retellings of stories, book to movie adaptation comparisons, buddy reads, recent reads, bookish challenges. Really, the list does go on and on. And today what we're doing is we're talking about summer reads because it's officially summertime.
Is it?
Well, I mean, it's getting close. It's, it's getting warmer. There's weather and sun and, the things. The things. And so in order to kind of kick this off, we decided to talk about books that we would recommend to read over the summer, or just books that kind of give the vibe that you should be reading this at summertime, if that makes sense, hopefully. So I'll explain what I mean with my first one. And there might be some slight spoilers for these books. We're going to try to keep it as much away from spoiler territory as we can, but just in case there is a warning here, I'll try to make some timestamps about when we talk about things. So the first one that I think kind of falls into these would be a good summer read category is a series that is called the To Catch a Thief series. The first book is called Hot Pursuit. There's 3 of them. They are on Kindle Unlimited. And essentially, book 1 is kind of like a clean romance between an art thief and an FBI agent. And the following 2 books follow the art thief's friends, essentially. They're really cute books. I really enjoyed them. They're a good read. They're a good time. And especially book 1, Hot Pursuit, the art thief, her dad has kind of this island somewhere in the middle of the ocean. So it just gives off summer vibes, immediately. It's fun. It's a fun time. It's a fun read. Again, it's a clean romance. So if spice is not your thing, it's a good time for that. And like I said, not sponsored in any way by Kindle, but it is on Kindle Unlimited. So do recommend if you have that. Now, what would your first one be?
My first one would have to be the Bookworm's Crush.
Any specific reason?
I mean, it's kind of just, it's a bookworm and a surfer dude
who has a crush.
No, okay, so premise of the book, Bookworm, she is entering herself into this competition to meet her favorite author, and she gets help from this surfer who she knows, and they kind of fake date to help kind of, I want to say, get her ahead a bit. They help each other out. It's really cute. It's just lighthearted. It's just a nice lighthearted book.
Well, we like nice and lighthearted. I think for me especially, I like those kind of reads for summertime. You just want things that are fun and just kind of a good time, My next one is, well, it should be no surprise. It's Love Hypothesis, or really anything by Ali Hazelwood. And here's why. They're fun books, especially Love Hypothesis. Love Hypothesis is one of my favorites. And I think it's just a good little fun time. Even though it's not actually summer vibes, the book itself is a fun, relaxing romance. So it's a good time. I do recommend. Again, some people want the romance books over the summer, so I recommend. What's next?
My next is, okay, I'm just going to give you an author because I don't want to name all of her books because they're a lot. And it's not a series. They're all just standalones. And that is Natasha Preston.
Ah, I wondered if she was going to come up.
Yeah, because it's me and I cannot be fun and lighthearted. There's another book. I'm also currently sitting here scrolling on my library app to try to find books, but she was going to be brought up anyway because I'm currently still struggling to find the one book. But yeah, I like her stuff. If you like thrillers and I want to say almost horror, but not horror, her books are really good. Do kind of carry on stronger themes. So be warned, they're not for everyone.
Yeah, and again, like you said, they are thrillers, so, you know.
Yeah, they're like a horror, thriller, mystery type deal.
Yeah, so keep that in mind.
Keep that in mind. For a young adult, they are much more mature.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of just gotta go with it if you read it. But again, I just prefer the darker stuff, so
yep,
there's that.
Yep, you would.
Shut up.
Okay, so the next one that I'm going to recommend is The Fine Print, and it is the first book in the Dreamland Billionaire series. It's a spicy book. It's kind of like a company that's kind of like Disney, essentially. You know, it's a good time. It's a romance. It's spicy. It's fun. I love book 1. I enjoyed book 2. I did not read book 3. So, you know, I'm really only talking about book 1 itself. I really liked book 1 personally. It's probably my favorite out of the series, but it's a good time. Like, I recommend. Do recommend. And it's fun.
It's fun.
It's fun.
It's fun because why not?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the next book that I would say, I can't remember which comes first. I think it's A Traitor's Kiss. It's either A Traitor's Kiss or The Traitor's Ruin. I think it's The Traitor's Kiss is first. It's like kind of a fantasy romance.
Fantasy romance coming from Belle.
Yeah, but it has a strong female character who pretty much just wants to stab this dude through most
That
of the
explains
book.
it.
Yeah, I read this on the train going to New York once. Yeah, I liked it. There's the third one. I never got that far. I don't remember the second book. I just remember the first one, and I really liked the first one. It was kind of fun. Aria mentioned previously, it's like you're just along for the ride, and that's this one. You're just along for the ride, and you get to watch a heroine with anger issues deal with this dude.
That's fun. All right. The next one I want to talk about is the Folkhaven series. So this is a series of supernatural romances. All of the books are fun. They're a good time. It's kind of like this hidden town in the South that's just full of supernatural creatures. It's fun. There's different romances. They're each a good time. I do recommend. I like the characters. I like the setting. All in all, it hits a lot of boxes for me. So I do recommend it. It is a little on the spicy side. Not super crazy spicy, but like, you know, there's spice. So that is there if you desire that. What's your next one?
My next one, it's the Bookworm's Guide to Dating series. Is that what it is? Is that what the actual name is? I think that's what the actual name is. It's on Kindle Unlimited.
Kindle Unlimited has good stuff, and we're not sponsored in any way. Sponsored.
But I read this series. I really liked it. For any bookish person, it's a fun read. It's 3 books. Also, read the books in order because slight spoilers. But each bookish person can see themselves as one of the characters.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny. They're funny. I laughed. I enjoyed it. I don't even want to say slight spicy because it's really not. But it's not like wholesome romance either.
It's kind of that sweet spot where it wants to be spicy, but it's not.
It's adult. Like it's an adult book. Like that's all I can say for it. But I had fun reading those. I actually thoroughly enjoyed those. For being a romance, I really enjoyed it.
Which is shocking coming from you.
Yeah, I know, but I'm still trying to find the other books. So.
Fair. Okay, so another one that I will talk about is the book itself is called Forrest for the Trees. Now, there are 2 other books after this one, but I haven't read them yet. But it's kind of a romance between a park ranger and a fire marshal. It's slow burn. It is a little bit spicy. It's not crazy. It's, you know, compared to some other things, it is not.
It is fair.
Not that bad. But it's really cute. It's a good time. They're trying to figure out who's setting fire to the park. But, you know, they're kind of enemies. Or, well, they don't really like each other. So it's kind of like enemies to lovers a bit. Like, not super, but like a little bit. It's also slow burn. Like, it's fun. It's a good time. And it's like nature-y, you know. So if you want a nature vibe, you get it in this book.
You get it in this book.
I hate describing stuff sometimes because, like, in my head, I'm like, you know, it's like this intense thing. And, like, trying to say it is like, have you ever had a dream?
Have you ever had a dream? Oh, you concern me, darling. You concern me a lot.
No, you know what I'm referencing.
I know.
Okay, you got another one?
Pride and Prejudice.
You know what? Yeah. Yeah. That is a good summer read. It really is.
I thought in my head, I'm like, that's a good summer read.
It is. Yeah.
Yep.
I do recommend. I mean,
that's
not on my
summer
list.
Read.
It's not on my list, but that's a good read.
I was just passing all of my Pride and Prejudice retellings.
Oh my gosh.
So that's why I thought of it.
Okay, well, yep, nothing more to be said about that one. The next one that I would recommend is actually a Ruin of Roses, the Ruin of Roses series. That's a fantasy romance. It's very spicy. It's a good series. It's like a Beauty and the Beast retelling. It checks a lot of boxes. It's a fun time. It can get a little intense sometimes, but overall, like, I do recommend it. I think if you're a fantasy romance lover, if you like spice, it's definitely like a good summer reading vibe, just, you know, for that reason. You got any more?
Yes. Frightmares. This is the book I've been trying to find.
Excuse me.
Frightmares.
Frightmares.
Yes.
Is this a book about scary horses?
No. So it's a summer acting job turns into a real life horror show when a cast member turns up dead.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yep.
Oh, I see.
Yep.
Okay, why is this? Why summer?
Because I mean, it takes place in summer. It's a summer job.
Uh-huh.
Yep. And in Florida.
Oh, that makes it even better. Yep, that'll do it.
Yep. It has a lot of horror elements.
Horror.
Oh my gosh, stop. So yeah, that.
Okay.
I was looking for that. It was taking me a hot minute to find that book.
Okay. All right. Well, another one that I would recommend, another series, is the Bitten by Death series. It is kind of like Egyptian mythology meets vampire. There's a romance. I think there is some spice. It's been a while since I've read it. It's kind of blended into the background a little bit. But it takes place in Vegas. So, you know, desert.
And you wondered why Frightmares.
Yep.
Oh, you concern me.
I concern me too.
I'm glad. I think you concern everyone, sweetie.
Hey, get in line. just fall in line. But regardless, though, it's a fun series. I like it. I think is there mystery elements to it? I think there is, kind of, like, there's plotting and it's like a whole thing. But it's fun. It's a good series. I do recommend. Do you have any more?
The Storm and Silence series.
You really like that series.
I still like that series. It's a great series.
Okay. Do you want to elaborate?
I mean, I don't know. It's kind of like The Traitor's Kiss, except it deals with, in Victorian England, there's a girl, and it happens during, like, the start of the women's suffrage movement. So, like, you know, the first book starts where she dresses up as a guy and sneaks in to vote. But she runs into like the richest guy in England and stops him from making a really bad investment. And he's like, oh, I need a new assistant. So here's my card. Just come and you'll get the job. And she's like, okay, whatever. Well, he then sees her getting dragged away and then learns that she's a woman and not a guy. And he's like, oh no, she's not going to show up. And then she shows up on Monday. And he's just kind of like, I can't give you a job. You're a woman. So she dresses up as a guy, and it's really funny because he's like trying to act all tough and to get her to quit, and she's not quitting. And he has this gigantic bodyguard that wields a saber, and
oh my gosh,
it's so funny because the big guy is so scared of her, and she helps him. And it's a good series. It's really funny. I enjoy it a lot.
I need to read this series.
So
I really need to check this out.
Characters are so funny. To me, it's funny. Probably to a normal person, it's not funny. But just the stuff she does to him, especially the last book that's out on print, book 6, Storm of the Bells, they get married. They're to get married. But it's so funny because the entire start of the book is just a battle between Ambrose and Lily. Because he's like, well, you gotta quit. Like, we're getting married. You have to quit. Like, you can't work here. And she's like, oh, yeah, I can. My place is beside you. I'm still going to work here. And he's just like, no, you're not. And so, like, they make a deal. And, like, the first deal is that if she can't do a marketing campaign correctly and, like, boost the sales of his newest product, then, she's fired. Well, it actually works. It actually works so much better than he expected it to because, he's all against, like, not spending money. And she spends all this money on a, like, huge advertising campaign. So he's so mad. Finds out it actually works, is even more mad because now he can't fire her because of their deal. So then, it's 2 weeks of him just putting her through torture. Like, first thing, he installs an elevator.
Oh, God.
But, no, like, not an actual elevator, like the first elevator. So, like, there's no doors. And it just keeps moving, and he has it on the quickest speed ever. And she's like, well, I'm going to work. You boarded up the stairs. I'm going to work. Jumps on the thing. And it's like, I'm going to lose a limb. Jumps off. She actually makes it safe. And then, she hears somebody else coming up on it, and she's just like, oh my gosh, that idiot actually sent someone else up here, and it's him. And he's like, you are never doing that again. And she's like, well, I guess you better slow it down then. And then he's like known for like not being the nicest. Like he's not like, I want to say like the most normal of the romance men. Mm-hmm. He's like, oh, my love. He's more so just, very tough and cold and everything. And it's so funny because then she gets a letter. They have like a letter system type deal. It's kind of like, it's in a movie. Shoot, what movie am I thinking of?
Elf.
Is that the one where they have the tube system with the letters? Yes, it's legit that. They have that. Anyway. And she gets a tube system and like it's a letter from him and he's like, my wonderful darling, please bring me a cup of tea, hugs and kisses. And she's just like, what? So she sends him something back and, he like has this whole act that, he wants chocolate cake and he wants tea and he wants biscuits and he wants sugar for his tea and he wants a potted plant for his office.
I need to read this series.
And she's just like, if he's going to be like this, I can't marry him. And like eventually she realizes what he does. And it's so funny because so she's his personal assistant, but he has a secretary. And the secretary kind of knows who Lily is, but not really. And it's so funny because the secretary knows how to make tea and knows how to stitch, like, shirts and stuff that Ambrose wants. And she's just like, so I'm going to take your spot and you're just going to do this. So she has Ambrose completely fooled. Oh, it's so funny.
Oh, my.
And then, like, before, like, the whole, like, thing happens, he gets her like a typewriter but you know, old, like before typewriter was actually a thing. And she's like, what the heck is this?
Oh my God.
Oh, it's so funny. Their arguments are so funny. The second book, oh my gosh. I'm going on a rant, but these books are hilarious. Second book, she is getting courted by someone. First off, everyone that tries to court her ends up going missing. Turns out he's the reason why. He ships them all off to like the army or the navy or something. He like gets them drunk and just puts them in the way of army recruiters.
So
and then it's so funny. But the second book, she's like, we need to go somewhere. Like we need to get out of here. Like we need to leave. No, it's the third book. Like third or second book, we need to leave. We can't leave. And she's like, oh, yes, we are. Finds out there's this treasure in this jungle somewhere. We're going here. He's like, oh, heck yeah, we're going. I want that treasure.
Oh, my God.
And so, like, they're traipsing through the jungle, and she's sweating. So, like, she, like, kind of strips down to, like, you know, her chemise, and, like, everybody's losing it. Because the big bodyguard is just like, I can't. So, like, he, like, has to walk in front, and, like, it's so funny. Oh, it's so funny. And then the one where she meets his parents, his family, they go to his house for Christmas. Oh my gosh, it's so funny.
I need to read this series.
Oh, you need to. It's glorious.
Maybe we'll do an episode where it's kind of my first impressions on this series.
It's so funny. Because they show up for Christmas, and of course, when they first show up, she's his personal secretary, so she's Mr. Linton. And his mother's getting ready to host a Christmas ball. And Lily's just like, can I invite my twin sister? She's around here, and I'd really like to see her for the holiday. And the mother's like, of course! Anything for you! So, like, she just, like, walks into town, buys a dress, then walks back to the house. And when she shows up, Ambrose is so mad. Oh, it's so funny.
Oh, this sounds great.
It's so funny. And then, like, a soldier is also there who she's met before from the previous books. And he starts, you know, kind of started to try to court her. And Ambrose is having none of it. Like, he sticks his bodyguard on her. Oh, it's so funny.
Oh, my.
Oh, well, it's such a funny series.
We'll probably revisit that later on.
Oh, it's so good.
All right. Well, that about does it for today's episode. Of course, we want to thank you for coming along as we gave some summer reads recommendations. Of course, if you like this episode, if you like what you've been listening to, please consider sharing the episode with your friends and following the podcast. We would really appreciate the action,
support.
Yep.
That those actions will give.
Yep. I say this outro all the time, and you would think I would know it by now. But I don't. So yeah, whatever Belle said, that's what I'm trying to say. And that being said, what are we talking about next?
Give Arya a second to get her brain. I don't know what's going on with her right now. But anyway, next time we are doing a book to movie comparison.
Yep, that's going to be fun. So we will see you guys next time then. Bye.